17 years after a nuclear apocalypse, the Hope County of Far Cry New Dawn is nothing like you remember. The landscape has been twisted and reshaped by fire and radiation. The resulting superbloom has filled it with brilliantly colorful plants and bitey wildlife, and a rampaging legion of scavengers known as the Highwaymen have set up ramshackle outposts amid the ruins. And Far Cry New Dawn's changes run much deeper than that, affecting everything from how weapons work to how you'll get around in this brave new world. In addition to Hope County's survivors, there's a ray of hope lighting up the post-apocalypse, and his name is Rush. Rush and his band travel across the country looking to help settlements get back on their feet, and you're his captain of security until you arrive in Hope County and get ambushed by the Highwaymen, an army of live-for-today bandits led by twin sisters Mickey and Lou.
You made us look weak. That ends now!
From there, your main goal is to regroup, build up your home base at Prosperity, a fortified settlement of Hope County survivors, and make life as difficult for the Highwaymen as possible. You're free to wander and pursue missions however you see fit, though. Specialists, guns for hire, and things for hire are scattered across the map, including familiar faces like Grace Armstrong and Nick Rye, capable new gunslingers like Nana, and ferociously loyal animal friends like Timber and Horatio. They all need your help, and if you do them a solid, like finding Grace's stolen saw launcher prototype in a fortified train yard, for example, or rescuing a friendly pig-slash-living battering ram from slaughter, they'll repay the favor by joining your cause. Guns and Fangs for Hire can use their abilities to help you in battle and pull you out of danger, while specialists will lend their skills to your growing settlement, letting you upgrade Prosperity's facilities to craft better gear, unlock new fast travel options, including airdrops, and leave Hope County on expeditions. Generally, more people and animals on your side means you'll have a better chance of survival out in the unforgiving wilderness, as well as more furry faces to pet. Who's a good boy? Yes, you are. Good boar. Good tusk monster. Speaking of survival, you might encounter enemies out there who seem nearly impervious to your bullets. That's because weapons and vehicles now have ranks, and to craft better ones, you'll need to upgrade your workbench back at Prosperity. Not only does a rank 2 pistol pack more punch than even a level 1 machine gun, but higher ranked weapons also tend to include cool additions like scopes, silencers, and extra improvised appearances, so it's in your interest to start building a beefier arsenal as soon as possible. With help from recruited specialists and ethanol looted from outposts, you'll also be able to upgrade your selection of vehicles, explosives, health items, intel maps, and even your maximum health. Of course, all this takes raw crafting materials. With a little bit of puzzling and the occasional dancing fish, you can scavenge these from hidden treasure caches, or steal them from the Highwaymen, either by hijacking their convoys or raiding their outposts. And if you want a chance at greater rewards, you have the option to scavenge outposts, which repopulates them with a tougher contingent of Highwaymen who will give up better rewards when you take them out. Not everyone you'll meet in Hope County is a Highwayman or a settler. The wilderness is home to wandering hunters and scouts who might be willing to trade or share juicy info about nearby treasure caches or other points of interest.
They're used to recruit locals into their ranks.
You'll also be able to make contact with the remnants of the Project at Eden's Gate, whose followers now embrace a reclusive, back-to-nature philosophy and a mythic reverence for their missing father, Joseph Seed. They'll even become allies, helping you hunt the Highwaymen as you work to fulfill their strange prophecies, and while they may have rejected technology, they're still surrounded by plenty of hallucinatory weirdness fueled by their mind-controlled drug of choice, bliss. Post-apocalyptic Hope County is filled with mystery, danger, and explosive potential for chaotic fun, especially if you bring a co-op buddy along for some Road Warrior hijinks.
They're behind us!
Yeah. Nice! And Far Cry New Dawn's action extends far beyond the embattled Montana setting, with expeditions letting you travel to beached aircraft carriers, occupied Navajo villages, and other completely new, self-contained locations to locate and steal back special packages from the far-ranging Highwaymen, and make a frantic getaway before they swarm you. It's all coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC on February 15th, so for all things Far Cry, subscribe to this channel and visit us at news.ubisoft.com.
kids when the bombs dropped, and the world went to shit. They said it was supposed to be the end of everything. But for us, it was just the beginning. Surviving? Nah, we were better than that. This new world had a lot to give, and we took it all. That's how we came out on top. That's how we got here. That's how we found you. Listen here, rabbits. You need to understand something. The only currency left in this world is power. We're gonna take everything from you, starting with your home. And if we can't take it, we'll break it.
Into the new world. I thought that it would be glorious. I was wrong.
I was 6 years old the first time I saw the sun. It wasn't always easy, but for a time, there was peace and prosperity. But it all went horribly wrong.
Power is the new currency. And thanks to your weakness, it's easy to get rich.
We need people and resources.
What about that group in the north, New Eden?
A deal with New Eden is a deal with the devil.
After all I've done, and after all we've been through, you've come seeking help from me? You must be truly terrified.
Here's to hope.
I'm gonna spend all night wiping those hopes and dreams off my boots.
Far Cry New Dawn is the opportunity to bring Far Cry to the post-apocalyptic world.
A post-apocalypse setting is something that we're itching to do for a long time, but put our own Far Cry spin on it. And I think that's what players are going to find in Far Cry New Dawn.
It's super interesting to see how a world could be transformed by such an event. And you know, at UB, we like to really study how we build our worlds. So we actually took the time to study how the world could evolve in 17 years after such an event.
So what I mean is that after the
apocalypse happened, we had some years of nuclear winter, where everything is dead, everything is dry, nothing is growing anymore. After that, there was some periods of harsh winds, where the winds were blowing around all the sands, and next up we have a long periods of rain. And that's where Far Cry New Dawn takes place. It's called the super bloom. What it means is that all of a sudden you have these beautiful flowers and beautiful lush vegetations coming out of a very desolate, dry place. And that's where Far Cry New Dawn takes place. It's really different. There is now sand dunes and there is the super bloom. It transforms that place and it creates new opportunities. The sand dunes, they're great to like jump with the buggies.
Nature has reasserted itself in a big way in Hope County. Wildlife has changed, the people who live there have changed, so we thought it was the perfect opportunity to explore that.
So we knew from the beginning that we wanted to avoid the cliche post-apocalyptic setting. We knew we wanted to make a world that's been colorful, inviting, and just really lush and different. And people who are coming back from Far Cry 5, we also wanted them to explore something completely new and a different setting. And then, yeah, what 17 years did to these characters that you loved or that you hated?
Far Cry New Dawn is the narrative sequel to Far Cry 5 in the sense that we're coming back to Hope County 17 years later, but it is the next standalone Far Cry experience. So the player is a new player character coming to Hope County for the first time. If you have played Far Cry 5, you'll get an extra sense of satisfaction in reuniting with people that you've spent a lot of time with in 5 and seeing who survived, and of those who survived, how did it change them? How did this story affect them?
How we picked the characters from Far Cry 5 that are coming back is coming from 2 different angles. One is the writing team from both games getting together and saying, he lives, she dies, he lives, she lives. It was super exciting to debate who we should bring, and we looked at who the players were appreciating, and we brought these characters. We're bringing back the Guns for Hire, and we have 2 brand new Fangs for Hire. So we are actually bringing a new dog. Sorry for the people who love the Boomer. Boomer is dead. It has to be said. I won't say what happened, but 17 years, whew. But we have a brand new pet dog. He's called Timber. He's an Akita dog. And we listened to the community, and they were asking for being able to have the dog coming with you in the vehicles. And now we can do that, and it's pretty cool. This time we're bringing a massive giant boar. For me, it's a perfect addition to the roster of Far Cry. He's called Horatio the boar. We had the creative freedom to kind of go a bit crazy. And one of my favorite things are the wildlife in Far Cry New Dawn. So where in the past something might feel like it was rare, in Far Cry New Dawn it's the new norm. So for example, in our game, you might come across a lot of white albino deer. And besides those, you'll come across so many different animals that you might not have even thought existed before, with their colors. And my favorite, the hummingbirds. We have hummingbirds all over Far Cry New Dawn, and I think that's something that everyone's gonna love. We are bringing a place we call Prosperity. It's a home base. It's going to be a place that the player is going to rebuild. You will bring the victims and your friends there, and that's where also in return they will help you build better vehicles, better weapons. And you have this threat coming from the east called the Highwaymen.
The Highwaymen roam the countryside, going from place to place, taking whatever they can or whatever they need to survive.
Which is led by Mickey and Lou, the twins.
When we were coming up with the story of New Dawn, we were looking for opportunities to change things up. The idea of twins, it changes the dynamic of these scenes in the way that they interact with the player, but also the way they interact with each other.
It creates a lot of unexpected movement and action and dialogues. Actually, when we were building the game and doing the research, we were super excited to find a way to give the player the opportunity to visit other places and see what the collapse did. The expeditions enable you to visit other places that have been affected by the collapse. We have a bunch of new locations that are going to bring a fresh take on that players didn't experience in Far Cry 5. And we picked locations that would feel drastically different. The maps are gigantic. It's like a 1 square kilometer by 1 square kilometer, so it's very large. All are totally unique. Because these maps are separated from the open world, we don't have the same constraints. So for instance, we can put way more enemies. So the experience is much more intense.
There they are! Not today!
The exciting thing for us is that given that the world is so much more chaotic now in this landscape, we could really take that intensity and really kick things up a notch in terms of how far people are willing to go to survive now.
The post-apocalyptic world gives us opportunities to go a little bit crazy, to have fun. And that's what we did.
Ooh, hell yeah! Now that's a fucking punch!